There it is. He timed it right. Counting
to explode with the left. Oh, and that right, but Davis took off some of the steam of the punch, but still.
Welcome to the motherfucking lady. We're covering today's top boxing news.
You had every opportunity to get Terry out of there. You didn't do that. That was your opportunity to say, hey, Alycia, what's up? That shit didn't move me. That shit motivated me to go work out because this is who y'all comparing me to? This is who y'all want me to fight?
Oh, well, that's who Clarissa wants Alycia to fight. Big part of the reason Carolyn Dubois started going after Alycia in the first place is because of her kinship with Clarissa. And now it's gained some steam.
Please stop. Please stop with that. It's not even that.
Caroline is not on my level. I never duck no smoke from nobody. She's not the biggest fight to make next. I know who I want, and I've been very vocal about who I want.
Biggest problem with Alycia Baumgardner's perspective is that she's telling people that she's putting the Dubois fight on the back burner for bigger fights with either Amanda Serrano or Katie Taylor, neither of which are likely to happen. Those are bigger fights and bigger names, but what is it all worth if it doesn't take place?
I got my fight April 17th, and then I'm going to be fighting again this year, and it's not Caroline. She's not the big fight to make. When we talk about making big fights, when we talk about main event, when we talk about putting people in seats, here, it ain't her.
She fights again this year after the Bomi Ray Shin fight. And it's not Amanda Serrano, it's not Katie Taylor, but it's not Carolyn Dubois either. She's just going to leave herself open for more criticism. I still think she needs to have that fight with Carolyn sooner than later. Why wait?
Nobody's ducking nobody. I don't care to beat her ass. I'll put her in the dirt for y'all, if that's what you want. But I could never be scared of a C-level person. This is the same girl going around asking how she can beat me. Like, on some real shit. Like, I get it. They want a name to build off of, and that's the name that they're choosing to do. Me. We need Alycia because that's the fight that is perfect to build off of. No, go put some skin in the game. Go put some skin in the game. Go do what I did. I became undisputed at 130, okay? All the belts. Didn't have nothing handed to me. I'm now email champ. I beat the champ to be the champ. Let's get that shit right.
That bit of it I do agree with. Carolyn Dubois doesn't have that fight with Alycia Baumgardner in a timely fashion. There's no reason she shouldn't unify her own division. She wants to skip steps. You think you're ready for somebody as experienced as Alycia, then you should be ready for the winner of Han versus Holm or Elif Nur Turan. Go fight with them.
Don't come over here with all that yah. I'm telling you, I'm going to fight you, but it ain't going to be when you want it to be. That's the difference. Baby, I'm the top dog.
Now that's another point that I happen to agree with. The fight will happen when Alycia wants it to happen because she's the A-side in negotiations. I don't think that can be argued. It's supposed to be like, what? When Carolyn says jump, Alicia's supposed to ask how high? I believe that the fight should happen sooner than later, but I take no issue with Alycia reserving the right to do it on her own time because she is the A-side.
Top earned. Stop playing. Like, listen, I gotta let y'all know on the chat because some of y'all just be talking just to talk.
I'm at 130 pounds. I'm at super featherweight. That is my weight class. Have I moved up to 135? No, I have not. So why are you calling me out? You got other 3 girls who have belts at your weight class. Why are you worried about becoming undisputed?
No, I agree that Carolyn should be pursuing undisputed. And it is true that Alicia's not at her weight, but that same logic can be used on Alycia. Amanda's not at your weight, Katie's not at your weight, and you're not at theirs, but you're calling them out. Not really the best argument to make to delay a Carolyn Dubois fight.
You worry about AB because you want my name. You want to eat off my name. No, bitch. Not gonna work. Go put some skin in the game. You think you teaming up with the ops is gonna get you fired up? You think you going around asking people how to beat me? You're not gonna beat me. You can't beat me because I'm better than you at all things.
That bit of it I actually agree with, based on what I saw on Sunday. Admittedly, I was a little bit worried about how this fight would play out for Alycia, but having seen what I saw on Sunday, Carolyn doesn't do anything better than Alycia Baumgardner. In fact, she's a lot more simple than I thought she was.
That's the difference. And when that happens, everybody who's talking, you're gonna see. And that's all I can say. You can believe me, you don't have to believe me, you can fuck with me, you don't gotta fuck with me, you can be a fan, not a fan, I don't care about none of that. At the end of the day, the real always rise, baby. Period. That fugazi goofy shit, that shit sink to the bottom. So, that's what that is. We're gonna keep it G with y'all, because a lot of y'all just be talking just to talk. So, listen, I've been very vocal. And I ain't been saying too much because I know exactly what I need to do. So that's why I just keep it at a minimum. But since y'all was addressing me, talking about I'm scared or I'm ducking or this, that, and the other about Dubois, baby, Dubois ain't got shit for me but an ass whooping. Then I'm going to put her in the dirt. And that's it. And then it's just like, what's next? What we talking about?
Fans are becoming increasingly impatient with Alycia Baumgardner, and her last few opponents will not suffice as a big fight. They want to see her in one since it's been some years since the mayor fight.
Now what they want is the Dubois fight. Understandably so, and I won't try to convince any of you that you're wrong.
Because you're not. I too think that fight should happen sooner than later. I myself can't think of a good reason for it not to. Though I do understand that for the same reason Carolyn Dubois wants a Baumgardner fight, same reason Baumgardner wants a Serrano fight, wants a Taylor fight.
They want the big names.
Even if Alycia isn't likely to get Amanda, or likely to get Katie, I still understand the pursuit. Because Alycia is at a point where those fights make sense for her, even if they don't make sense for them.
Admittedly, I used to be worried about the Dubois fight for Baumgardner. I worried that if she waits too long, it's a fight that she'll lose, but based on what I saw on Sunday, Carolyn is a lot more simple a boxer than I originally thought. If a bit of movement, a half step back, and a judicious jab is enough to offset your power for most of the fight,
Alycia can do a lot more than that.
because she is faster than Terry Harper, more athletic, lighter on her feet, and sharper with her punches than Terry Harper.
Better shot selection also than a Terry Harper.
Carolyn doesn't know how to improvise, and that's what I saw on Sunday. Trying for single jabs to set up the backhand, and whenever Terry would bounce out of range, Carolyn was forced to reset when you could have just doubled up and tripled up on the jab.
Keep Terry's guns holstered while you inch forward to bring the backhand over. Didn't seem like much of an adjustment, but Carolyn didn't make it.
Feet didn't look nothing special either.
Not really.
Didn't pin down Terry in a corner, unload,
Doesn't know how to cut off the ring as good as I thought she would.
deliver her power as good as I thought she would.
She struggled a great deal, more than the boxing judges and the boxing fans are willing to admit. And if you struggled with that, you're going to struggle a lot more with Alycia.
Plus, there's gonna be more coming at you.
Admittedly, I used to worry about this fight, but now I'm pretty convinced that Alycia Baumgardner can beat Carolyn Dubois anywhere inside of the next 12 months to 2 years.
You know, before Father Time starts to catch up and she starts to slip.
And even then, she might not, because she's in her early 30s. She's not exactly old.
Irma Garcia was a lot older than Emma Doolin. She was in her early 40s, and you see what she did to her.
Alycia, a year, 2, 3 years from now, wouldn't be too old to beat Carolyn Dubois. Though as stated, aside from it being her prerogative, I can't think of a good reason that Alycia should delay this fight any longer, because she's not going to get Amanda. She's not going to get Katie. And if you're not going to get them, you might as well take care of this. Get it out the way.
Now it's time for another installment of what has fast become the most popular segment here on the channel, Ring IQ Hate Mail!
Guy who goes by the name Iron Prince left this comment under my recent video detailing Sebastian Fundora and what's next for him, saying, "This guy is as tall as an NBA small forward, making junior middleweight in his late 20s. Whoever gets him next better demand or negotiate extensive drug testing. I can't believe this isn't a common topic of discussion. All these goofy channels are too busy trashing real fighters like Haney or talking about how broke Mayweather is."
Goofy is complaining about height in the sport of boxing because these are weight classes, not height classes. There's nothing unique about Sebastian Fundora being tall for his weight. Mark Breland was tall for his weight, so was Tommy Hearns.
Well, what are those two guys? 6 feet, 6'2"? In a welterweight division, Paul Williams was tall at junior middle. So was Willie Nelson.
So was Jared Hurd. That guy used to walk around 200 plus in between fights, boiling down to 154.
Callum Smith was very tall for 168. David Benavidez was too, and big. The point being, there's nothing unique about a guy being tall for his weight. We see it all the time. We've been seeing it in decade after decade of boxing. It's not unique to this era or unique to Sebastian.
Getting all bent out of shape over it like it makes him this impregnable, unbeatable force when he's been beat before. He got knocked out by Mendoza, but did you miss it?
Guy's getting upset that I talked about how broke Floyd Mayweather is. I think that's an underreported story.
The most underreported story in all of boxing. I would say that the content creators aren't talking about that story enough. That Money Mayweather is out of money, and a part of the reason is because Al Heyman stole it?
That should be the biggest story in boxing as far as I'm concerned, where you're mad that I talked about it? And what about Devin?
Go, Bevan!
You don't want me to talk about how he wants too much money? How he's overpaid? How do you want me to frame it? On more than one occasion, I've been told by the subscribers that this channel should have a lot more subs than it does, and I always tell them, It's because I don't pander to nobody. What Iron Prince wants me to do...
He wants me to beat a boxing version of Alex Jones.
I gotta come up with some elaborate fucking conspiracy that there's a 6'5" junior middleweight running around like we never seen that before. I'm not crying enough about Sebastian Fundora's unfair height advantage that didn't help him against Brian Mendoza.
Woe is me.
What do you want they should do? Come up with height restrictions for divisions?
Fucking stupid does that sound. Junto Nakatani is big for his weight. Brandon Figueroa and Rafael Espinoza, they're big for their weight.
Gabby Fundora is big for hers, and so is Camila Zamorano.
It's not unusual to see that from time to time.
While I am very suspicious of anyone and everyone in the sport of boxing of doping behind the scenes, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're doping just because they're tall.
Plenty of moderately sized boxers that have been caught doping.
Sebastian's got the Snoop Dogg thing going on, to where he's a tall, lanky guy. He's sort of built like Kevin Garnett.
Tall, lanky guy.
Yeah, some guys like that, they got really fast fucking metabolisms. They eat something, but it don't show up nowhere.
Some guys.
But I ain't gonna be hung up on Sebastian's height and length, constituting some unfair advantage like he can't be gotten to when he's been gotten to.
He's been knocked down by Lubin, knocked out by Mendoza. He can be gotten to. Maybe not by Keith Thurman.
But he's been gotten to, so spare me to Sally Struthers act.
This is so unfair.
When did boxing fans get to a point they start complaining about a fighter's fucking height? Are you fucking serious? Elsewhere in the world of boxing, DAZN's ultimate first 6 pay-per-views rated. Is the $539 plan really worth it?
I don't think anybody's gonna be surprised by the answer.
6 months into DAZN's ultimate experiment, boxing fans finally have a clearer picture of what the platform believes justifies a $44.99 monthly fee. The subscription, costing $449 up front, or $539 across 12 monthly payments, was sold as the next step in boxing's evolution, promising access to at least 12 premier events per year. When DAZN rolled out the package, World Boxing News had already questioned how a service built on claims of pay-per-view ending could suddenly present fans with a premium tier carrying a price tag north of $500 per year. The small print only added to the backlash, while the idea of delivering a full year of premium attractions looked even more ambitious once the numbers were stacked. Against boxing's own pay-per-view history, now that the first 6 headline fights of the year are on schedule, the question is no longer theoretical. Do they actually justify the cost? From the outset, one issue becomes obvious. The gap between what American and British subscribers pay is difficult to ignore. DAZN Ultimate costs UK viewers the equivalent of roughly $33 per month, more than $10 less than the US price, despite there being no meaningful difference between the events themselves. 3 of the first 6 cards are clearly geared towards a European audience.
Americans shouldn't have to pay pay-per-view for some of these cards.
With American names sprinkled across the schedule to add global recognition, yet it is the American subscriber who pays the highest price. If a US fan pays for the monthly fee, but skips the UK-centric cards, the math quickly becomes uncomfortable. In that situation, the viewer is effectively paying $67.99 for a single pay-per-view anyway, making the value proposition increasingly difficult to defend.
It can't be defended, because it's only value for money if they're saving you money that you would have spent.
But what if it's money that you wouldn't have spent on, say, Chisora versus Wilder, or Itelma versus White?
And that's not value.
DAZN originally entered boxing promising to disrupt the pay-per-view model with a cheaper subscription alternative. Over time, however, the strategy has evolved into something very different. The platform has signed promoters across the sport and concentrated major events onto one service. Whether labeled pay-per-view or not, fans who want to follow the biggest fights now have little choice but to subscribe. As the World Boxing News ratings show, the bigger issue is whether there are truly 12 fights per year that warrant the pay-per-view tag at all. Even during HBO's golden era, when stars like Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, Oscar De La Hoya, Miguel Cotto, and Shane Mosley dominated the sport, HBO rarely staged more than 8 pay-per-view events in a single year.
Rarely is right. HBO never did as many pay-per-views as what you're seeing now.
That shortage of genuine blockbuster matchups may also explain some of the unusual pairings appearing on the calendar, including the spectacle of a reigning heavyweight champion stepping into the ring with a kickboxer. The concern was already there when questions were being asked over whether Moses Itelma versus Jermaine Franklin could become part of the DAZN Ultimate Cell, and the same problem still hangs over the schedule now, even though it ultimately did not materialize. One bout that does stand out is David Benavidez versus Zurdo Ramirez, a fight that likely would not have happened without the financial incentive of a premium event slot. Even then, the weight disparity between the two hints at the promotional engineering required to justify a pay-per-view headline. Across the board, the first 6 fights penciled in for 2026 struggle to fully justify the pay-per-view label, especially when considering that Turkey LL Sheik previously told fans he intended to make fights of this nature pay-per-view free.
For boxing supporters who want to watch these events legally, the reality is simple. The sport now carries a price tag of more than $500 per year. In an ideal world, that figure would likely need to be closer to half that amount to represent genuine value.
The overall World Boxing News rating of DAZN's first 6 Ultimate events, 5 out of 10. 6 fights into the experiment, DAZN still has half a year to deliver the 12 premium events promised under the Ultimate Plan. But if the first 6 are the benchmark, the platform may find that filling those remaining slots with genuine pay-per-view level fights is far harder than the marketing suggested.
Now let's open up this word sandwich and take out the pickles, shall we? It's not hard to understand. If boxing fans struggle to kick out $75 for one pay-per-view, what makes you think those same boxing fans are going to kick out $500
over the course of 12 months or $400 in one fell swoop?
They're not.
It isn't hard to understand. They're not. Piracy is an option. It's the elephant in the room. But why comb through your finances to see if you can actually afford this when you can watch it all for free?
Piracy is an option.
The worst part of the DAZN Ultimate Tier package is that there are not actually 12 or more box office fights to make in the sport of boxing in a single calendar year. They're not. So what they're resorting to is taking fights that you would have normally got as part of a regular subscription, not pay-per-view, and making them pay-per-views.
Give me an example.
When have you ever had to pay pay-per-view for any Nui fight? Because that's what they did for the Picasso fight. Picasso wasn't even one of his bigger fights.
It was a nobody.
They charged me and you pay-per-view to see him fight a nobody, where before, we got to see him fight Stephen Fulton. We got to see him unify the entire division, all as part of a subscription.
So you can turn around and charge us extra to see him fight a nobody. And you know they're probably going to charge us for the Junto Nakatani fight.
At the ass crack of dawn, mind you. I ain't even telling you that's not an amazing fight. It is. But because of the time zones, it doesn't make sense to charge Americans extra to see it.
Though they probably will.
So I've yet to see the evidence that the DAZN Ultimate Tier actually provides value for money. Near as I can tell, it's just a fanciful way of asking you for more of it.
Because whether you subscribe to the Ultimate Tier or you don't, one way or another, you're paying extra.
That is, unless you get your boogie board out and find a pirate stream to surf on. Been a supporter of DAZN for a long time, but I am not a supporter of the Ultimate Tier. I think that's just another way for them to ask you and me for more money.